Hi everyone, I'm teacher Cheryl and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be focusing on editing. First of all, I'm going to give you some editing tips that you can use in your exams when you are attempting the editing questions. Next, I'll go through some common errors that you can usually find in editing. This will help you to accurately identify these errors and of course help you score in this component. So let's get started. So you will find editing in paper 1 section A of the exam paper. And the instructions usually look like this. I'll read them out for you. Carefully read the text below, consisting of 12 lines about the Great Wall of China. The first and last lines are correct. For 8 of the lines, there is one grammatical error in each line. There are 2 more lines with no errors. If there is no error in a line, put a tick in the space provided. If the line is incorrect, circle the incorrect word and write the correct word in the space provided. The correct word you provide must not change the original meaning of the sentence. Notice that they've also given us examples on how to answer the question. So in the first example, I arrived to my destination at 2 p.m. The error is 2, so I have to circle 2 and then I write the correct word in the blank on the right. In the second example, my mother always wears sensible clothes. Now there's no error in this sentence, so I don't need to circle anything. All I need to do is put a tick in the blank on the right. So on my screen now, you can see the actual editing practice. This is taken from the 2020 O-Level Paper 1. Remember, the instructions state that the first and last lines are correct. Therefore, the first line, when I first saw the Great Wall of China, and the last line, with all my family and friends, there are no errors in these 2 sentences. The instructions also say for the remaining 10 lines, 8 of those lines have errors, and 2 of those lines have no errors. The very first tip that I'm going to give you is, whenever you are doing editing, scan through the text first and try to identify the type of text, because this will tell you what tense the text mainly is in. So for example, if you're looking at an informative text, the text should mainly be in the present tense. On the other hand, if it is a recount, it should mainly be in the past tense. Take note that I say mainly because it really depends on the text as well. Sometimes there might be a mix of tenses. However, if it is, for example, a recount, it should mostly be in the past tense. Some other things to remember when doing editing is only select one word for each error. There should not be 2 words. Circle the error and write the correct word. Do not tick more than 2 options. When you are identifying errors, remember that there are no spelling or punctuation errors. And finally, you should be aware of the common types of errors. And that's what we're going into next. So the first type of common errors are verbs. Verbs are usually action words like jump, swim, run, or they could be auxiliary verbs such as is, are, was, and were. So I'd like you to take a look at this example. We are focusing on line 5. Can you identify the error in line 5? The error here is the word get. Now, how do I know this? Well, what I have to do is to look for clues in the text. So if I look at the previous sentence, they've used words like rose, were, and offered. And in the sentence after, it uses words like was, wore, and needed. So all these words I've identified are all in the past tense. Therefore, I need to keep the tense consistent. Another thing is, remember that I told you need to identify the text type, which helps you identify which tense the text should mainly be in. This is a recount because the writer is telling us what he saw and what he did. Therefore, that's another clue that tells me that my answer should be in the past tense. Therefore, the correct answer should be got. And the sentence should read, I got there as early as possible. Let's look at the second example. However, the bridge had to be closed shortly after its opening due to the overwhelming number of tourists. Can you identify the error in this sentence? The error here is in the word close, so I will circle close. And my clue here is in the word be. Now, for this type of error, you need to know what's the difference between an active sentence versus a passive sentence. An active sentence usually just has one main verb. For example, the dog kicked the cat. On the other hand, a passive sentence usually has a be verb plus another verb in the past participle form. For example, the cat was kicked by the dog. Another thing to note about passive sentences is that you usually can add a by at the end of the sentence. So for example, by the dog. So let's go back to the question. However, the bridge had to be closed. So notice that there's a be before the word close. Notice how the sentence doesn't tell us who actually closed the bridge, right? So I could add that the bridge was closed by someone. So I can confirm that this should be in a passive sentence form. So the word close should be in the past participle form, which is closed. The next type of common error is subject-verb agreement. So take a look at this question. Realized walking along, it wouldn't be easy as it seemed. The steps were very something. Can you identify the error in this line? The error is in the word seem. And how do I know that? It's because of the word that comes before seem, which is it. Notice that it is a singular subject. And if a subject is singular in a sentence, we usually need to add an S to the verb. For example, the cat purrs. On the other hand, if you have a plural subject, your verb should not have an S. For example, the cats purr. If you'd like a more detailed explanation about subject-verb agreement, do watch my other video and I'll leave a link in the description box for you. One more thing to note is that there are uncountable nouns. For example, luggage, equipment, furniture, these are all uncountable nouns. So we cannot add an S to the end of these uncountable nouns, and they are considered singular nouns. For example, the grass is greener on the other side. So here, grass is considered an uncountable noun. Therefore, I should be using the verb is and not are. So going back to our question, the answer for this should be seems. It wouldn't be as easy as it seems. The next type of common errors, determiners. Take a look at this question and see if you can identify the error in the line. So the error in this line is an. Now, when using determiners, we need to remember when we use the determiners a and an, we usually use them for non-specific nouns. When we use the determiner the, we usually use them for specific nouns. So in this particular question, we know that it is a recount, and the writer was referring to a specific morning where it was quite chilly. So my answer for this question should be the, not an. So it should read like, it was quite chilly in the early morning. Okay, moving on, can you try to identify the error in this next question? The error is in the word experiences. And my clue in this sentence is the word an. Always remember that the determiner and the noun must have the same quantity. Therefore, the correct answer is experience. So the sentence should read like, my whole trip was an extraordinary experience. Okay, next question. Can you identify the error in this question as well? The error is in the word thousand. And my clue is of visitors. Now, the word thousand is actually a type of quantifier, and quantifiers tell us, well, how many or how much something is. So some other examples of quantifiers are some, many, a lot, a few, each, every, and so on. So in this sentence, notice that it doesn't say that there's only 1,000 visitors, but it's saying of visitors. So it's telling us that there's more than 1,000. Therefore, my answer should be thousands. Okay, so we've come to the end of part 1 of this video. Let's review the common error types that we have gone through today. And they are verbs, subject-verb agreement, and determiners. So watch out for part 2 of this video, where we're going to cover the remaining types of common errors in editing. If you found this video useful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Also, feel free to share this video with your friends or family whom you think may find it useful as well. See you in part 2. Bye!